and mental health is something that we don't talk about enough. In the black community, well, we're massively overrepresented in the mental health institutions, even more so than in the prisons. And again, these are questions we have to ask. Well, why?
But once you get a control and an understanding of who you are, no one can use you against you. No one can ever use your mental illness against you. You've already spoke about it, so what you got?
The biggest point in life to resolve mental health is like giving a fuck about a person.
Where did you get the courage? I got the courage. The 2 words. I care.
It's Chill Will Radio, where connections will be made, advice will be given, jokes will be told, and things will get real. My name is Willis Cooks, and I'm your host. But understand this show is not meant to be used as a substitute for a relationship with a licensed mental health professional. Enjoy the show, y'all. Yo, what's the deal? Welcome everyone to another dope, fantastic, fabulous, whatever episode. Chill Will Radio, man. Welcome everyone. I hope y'all doing good. Everything's fine. Diddy, are you good? Good back there, my man? Yes, sir. I will stop moving, sir. Welcome everyone to Chill Will Radio, man. This is where we're talking about all things mental health, the good, the bad, the ugly, the taboo, not so taboo, things we're supposed to talk about, things we're not supposed to talk about, whatever it is, man. I always like to say to some of my other folks, man, who ask about the show, this is not just therapist talk, right? This is not just a show to which is just going to be me and another therapist, right? Where I talk to therapists all the time. We will have therapists on the show, but at the same token, it's important for people to understand that mental health is more than just someone going to therapy. Mental health is more than just someone going through depression. Mental health is just, bringing your homie on and checking in with the homie. Bringing your homie in and checking in the homie. Whatever the case is, So welcome to everyone tuning in. If you're tuning in right now, good looking. If you're going to tune in halfway to the show, good looking. If you're going to tune in, tomorrow, next year, next month, next lifetime, if you in heaven somewhere, you want to tell your peoples about the show and they somehow tune in through whatever channels they coming into, good looking to you too, man. Shouts out to you, man. So quick little check-in for me. How was my week? How was everything? My week was good. My week was fine. Everything is good. Today will be day 27, I believe. 27 of me working out for 90 days straight. So I believe today will be number 27. And I'm noticing something. I'm going to get into that within the self-care piece, but I'm noticing something that's causing me to shift things up a little bit differently. So today's number 27. My week has been good. Work today. Fuck. So today I worked. I was it was the first time I worked. I really felt as if I was about to curse somebody out. Man. It's these goddamn nurses, man. These nurses, I hate them. My girlfriend's a nurse. I hate her too. She'll be alright though. But these nurses, man, it's hard when you're dealing with individuals who are not within the same, who just don't care, right? See, as a social worker, as a therapist, right, it's your natural inclination to actually care about the patient. It's natural for you to lead with the patient-centered mindset, right? Nurses is just like, and doctors too, but nurses are just like, well, I'm just here. I just want to do my part, right? I just want to do my part. And it was a nurse who was irritating me because she was doing something incorrectly. And because I was correcting her about what she was doing, she tried to tell me that, nah, I don't feel like doing this. It's like, nah, lady, this is what you're supposed to do. I'm not finna put my name on this shit so I can get in trouble. So you, as a nurse, stop being lazy and, do your job. But aside of that, work was cool. Everything was good. It's just learning how to not get so irritated with people who just don't care about it like you do. So maybe you care too much. Maybe the other person cares too less. Whatever it is, it's all about getting to that center. And that's just with anything in life, right? It's all about getting back to that middle point, right? Getting back balance, getting back to where your foundation and everything is stable. Because when you're shaky, that's when things go a little left. So it's all about making sure you're centered, It's all about making sure you're good. So whatever it is, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's wherever the case is, you know, if you catch yourself, like me at work today, I was a little off balanced, right? I was a little bit riled up. I literally had to take a second back because it was like, she didn't get it. She didn't understand it. It was hard for her to understand it because she had some real thick like accent. It was just weird. But once you start to notice yourself getting a little bit off balance, and that's with anything in life, take a second to step back. It's okay to step back, because what you're going to do is, if you don't, you're going to do something to cause you to just fuck everything up, right? Whatever the case is. So don't be afraid to take that second to step back, get balanced, and get to that point. So moving on forward, right, into the self-care piece, right? So the self-care piece that I want everyone to implement within their self-care regimen, right? Obviously, I hope everyone is doing like some form of daily check-in or some form of weekly check-in, right? Within those check-ins, though, one of the questions I want you to ask yourself within that check-in is, what am I bored with, right? What am I bored with? The reason why I want everyone to kind of add that into your check-in, what am I bored with, man, is because it's just like, when we're doing things consistently, right? So just like I was saying earlier, I'm on day 27, right? I'm bored with this. I'm bored with this working out. So you have to switch things up, right? You have to do things a little bit differently, because if you don't begin to shake things up, what you're going to do is you're going to fall off. And then you're going to be mad at yourself for falling off. And then you're not going to like it. And then you're just going to be like, fuck it. I don't care about this no more. Or whatever the case may be. It's like, nah. Be a little bit more mindful of where you're at and how you're feeling and what you're doing about that situation. Because if you're doing it over and over and over again, that habit is going to get boring. And then you're going to fall off of that habit, and things are going to go left because now you're bored, right? So when you're bored, find ways to shake it up. Do something a little bit more challenging, right? Try something new. Go off into a different area, you know, like me, right? When I'm about to start getting into, on Monday, I'm going to go to do CrossFit with one of my coworkers, right? She doesn't know this yet because I ain't told her, but I'm gonna go do CrossFit. I ain't never did CrossFit before. All I do is lift weights. All I do is lift heavy weights. So it's about opening up your world, opening up your mind, right? The second you become bored, open things up. Whether it's to different forms of therapy, whether it's to different people, whether it's to different jobs, whether it's to a different hobby, whatever it is, the second you begin to notice yourself being bored, open your shit up. And that's even with people. Sometimes we get bored with our friends, right? Sometimes we get bored with the homie because all we doing is just stand on the block. Simone, thank you for tuning in, man. Thank you. Sometimes we get bored for tuning in. Sometimes we get bored with our homies, our homegirls, whatever the case may be. If you got to try to take them somewhere so you can add some salt on or some spice into the little whatever relationship y'all got, do that. If you got to go find your new group of turn-up buddies, right? Do that. If you got to find you a new batch of friends to do whatever you need to do, go do that. But do things within your life so you don't get so bored, right? So the self-care piece that I want everyone to implement within their self-care regimen, right? You need to already be doing a weekly or a daily check-in. But within that check-in, ask yourself, what are you bored with? And once you ask yourself, what are you bored with, throw something in the fire so it can spice everything up. All right? Cool. So moving on forward to the main topic, man, I got my guy, Eric.
What's going on, man? What's going on?
I got my man, Eric, here, man. This episode is low-key kind of special to me, only because this is my first time seeing my man in person since, like, what?
Probably 2007, probably 2006.
2007?
Yep.
2007, man. We grew up playing football together.
Yes, sir.
LA Sheriffs, Packers at the park, man. They the Panthers now, but
yeah, I saw that.
Before it was the Panthers, it's the Sheriffs now, man. And it's dope that I've been able to actually reconnect. And I don't think, and I like things like this, right? Because it's been a few people in which I've been able to reconnect with. Right. So with my man being here, I thoroughly, and you were the one that reached out. Thoroughly appreciate you for reaching out. Appreciate you for coming by to the show, man. And we're going to have a nice show, man.
Yes, sir.
But first and foremost, dog, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Thank you for having me on, brother. Thank you for having me on, taking the time out and letting me on your platform.
Everything is good?
Everything is good. Everything is great, bro. I'm blessed.
What is good about everything?
I'm breathing.
Okay.
I'm breathing. My mom has always taught me to keep a positive mindset no matter what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm breathing. I'm healthy. You know, I'm able to get in my car and drive home after this. I have a
Yeah.
beautiful girlfriend that I'm going home to.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all about perspectives, man. So everything is good. Everything is good.
Good. And you just moved back. You say you just moved back to LA. You've been gone for what, 8
years, man. I left in 08, and I did come back in the middle of that 10 years. I came back for about a year and a half. But I came back officially in 2019, so it's been about 8 years.
8 years. Within that 8-year span, and with you coming back now, what's the biggest thing that you've learned? Or no, what's the biggest thing that you've learned, and what's the one thing that you could say is different about a lot of things? How do you see things?
The biggest thing that I've learned is perspective.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I've learned is how you look at things. You know, no matter what happens to you, it's about how you respond to that. How you know, if you get knocked down, it's about how you get up.
Yep.
One of the biggest things you said on how I see things differently. I think just from that perspective, just growing up in LA, growing up in the city, sometimes you may feel like a lot of people are against you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may feel like life is against you, like it's just not in the cards for me.
Yeah.
But then once I got out and really just can gain a higher perspective, it really taught me just looking at things differently, and it really showed me just the essence of life. Sometimes you just got to wait for that table to turn. Sometimes you just need a new shot to just broaden your wings sometimes, you know? So,
sometimes it's just like what I say. You need to throw something in there to kind of shake it up, right?
Exactly.
And the more things are shaking up, things is going to open up. Your perspective is going to open up, man. So that's what we're talking about here today, man. What we're talking about here today on the show, the topic is, you know, taking that negative mindset or taking negative things with you. Right. And the reason why you brought that up to me as a show topic, and the reason why I felt like that topic was actually dope is because I can go back and to remember when I, for those who don't know, I did my undergrad in Atlanta. I went to Clark Atlanta University.
Okay.
And when I went out there in 2012, I could say I ain't gonna say all of the negative shit, but when it comes to the negative mindset and how we're trained as kids or as black males within here up in LA, it was ridiculous, right? I went out there just kind of like ready for the action.
Exactly.
Ready for the action, right? I remember when I got off the plane. It was this white lady walk up to me like, "Hey, I see you're getting off the plane." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What are you doing in LA?" She's like, "Oh, what are you doing in Atlanta?" I told her I'm going to school out here. Where are you from? Right? Out here is where you from.
Right.
It's an issue, right? So when she asked me where I'm from, my mind immediately went into like, okay.
Defense mode.
Exactly.
What's popping?
Right, exactly. Right. So I caught that real quick, right? And I was able to catch that a little quickly because it was a lady, it was an old white lady, so she was just having a conversation. Someone else at school, it was a dude that asked me at the school.
Yeah.
I had a little something in my system. Little alcohol in my system at the time, I believe.
Something.
Exactly. So when he asked me that question, I was like, all right, dog, what the fuck is you talking about?
Right.
Why is you banging on me?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
And I didn't really realize that until I probably got into grad school. You know, why I was so angry, why I was so pissed off, why I was so just like on edge.
Right.
With every little thing. And we're not mindful and we're not conscious of the things that we take with us. Right? Carly, man, thank you for checking in, man. What's the deal? We're not conscious of the things that we take with us.
Right.
And a lot of these negative things come with us all the time. It could be through generation. It could be through something that just happened. It could be because, you know, you just got beat up a week ago.
Exactly. That's completely true.
Whatever it is going to go with you, man. So the fact that we're speaking about here today, all of the negative things that we're bringing with us and how we personally have used certain things in order to get out of that life.
Right.
It's dope. So for you, my man, when you bounced, right? What age did you leave? And then
I left
what was
at
that
15.
journey like for you?
I left at 15, and the journey was fruitful. That's what I can say. As far as emotions, as far as wisdom, it was fruitful. But just to touch on, like you were saying,
but where'd you go?
I went to the San Fernando Valley. I went specifically to Sylmar High School. But even after I graduated, I still stayed around in the San Fernando Valley. Yeah. But me personally, the journey for me, man, when I went out there, like you were saying, growing up out here, when I was dealing with whatever I was dealing with, growing up in the neighborhoods I was growing up in, whenever I would see a gentleman walking down the street, a lot of my older homies, a lot of people in the neighborhood that's showing us the way, letting me know just off of the way that guy walks, the way that guy looks, oh, he has to be a banger. He has to be whatever the case may be. Go ahead and ask him where he's from. Go do whatever you have to do. And it was vice versa as well. Whenever I was in Los Angeles, wherever I was walking down the street, if I had a certain color on, whatever the case may be, someone walk up to me, yo, bro, where you from? So when I moved out to the San Fernando Valley, that's about 35 miles from home.
Yeah.
Once I'm walking down the street and I see a group of black men, like you said, I get tensed up. I get in defense mode. I'm like, all right, they about to ask me something. It may be something was good, but they wouldn't say nothing to me.
Yeah.
Everything would be crazy. And then I had this whole panic attack, and I didn't realize it was a panic attack. I didn't realize I was even growing through something. I just thought it came with the territory, and I think subconsciously I realized this is why I needed to get out of LA, because of the trauma that it's putting on my mental and things like that.
Yeah.
But
that's a big part, right? We just think it come with the territory, when in reality, like, it's not supposed to come with the territory, right? You're not supposed to be in an environment in which your environment gives birth to panic attacks. Your environment gives birth to anxiety. Like, that environment right there is not productive to your well-being.
Of course, not at all.
But because of we growing up in the hood, we black men, black women, growing up in the hood, and we live in these communities, just automatically on edge.
Right.
And if you're not on edge, shit can go all the way.
You're slacking.
Exactly, right? You slacking. But it's interesting about how we take that with them, right? You mentioned how you walk with a certain
balance or a certain demeanor,
right? And people could just point you out. I remember back when I was at Clark, and people sometimes still to this day, but especially back when I was at Clark, that first few years there, it was just kind of like, okay, I'm not fucking with that guy.
Right, yeah.
I'm not fucking with that guy, because that guy looking like he's finna
do something.
And it's not, you don't even notice it when some people tell you, like, hey, you got something on your shoulder, or you walking with this mug or whatever. People are, you don't know, you don't believe it, you're staying away from it, or whatever the case may be. So I know for me it was difficult, right? How was it for you to kind of get out of it, and do you even feel as if you are out of it?
How a good way for me to get out of it was, honestly, man, just surrounding myself with people that was positive. Yeah. But honestly, I had to get out of it myself. That was really all I can say, man. It was no book that I could read, because it was my experience. It was my truth, But once I did kind of, thanks to social media and things like that, once I did kind of get a little bit of, some type of gems online when it came to mental health and things like that, it kind of allowed me to sit back and think, wow, okay, so I was dealing with something. I really was dealing with something. I know the root of the issue now. I can kind of start dealing with it otherwise. Now, when I walk down the street, let me go address that man. Let me go and let him know, even though it may seem weird to him, let me go for the bigger picture. Let me cause a ripple effect. Let me see him be like, hey, bro, my name's Eric. What's going on with you, man? And that's just ways that it really helped me get out of it. Just meeting with other men, just trying to just get that parasite out of my mind.
What was the one of the hardest parts of it, though? Because you said you found damn, where'd it go? I don't know, it went somewhere. But what was the hardest part about when it came to getting out of it? Like, what was the one thing that continued to challenge you?
The biggest problem, man, was just coming from where we're coming from. We know what these men mindset is like. We know they're savages. And what I mean by that is, like, a lot of guys, they don't matter what's going on. Look what happened to Nipsey Hussle. So that's always played in the back of my mind. I knew, because I knew these guys. I was around these guys. They was ready to risk it all at any point in time, even if you looked at them for 3 seconds long.
But do you think it's beneficial to get out of it?
To get out of that mindset, of course, because what I end up doing is I start looking at my people a different way. When I went out to the valley, I felt on ease around everybody else except for black men, or except for black people, because I was thinking, where I'm from, everybody's intentions are the same. At the end of the day, you're going to try to get in my house, steal my stuff, because I came from the situations where I was seeing guys get set up. So I'm taking all of that with me. But then I think my dad told me something that stuck with me. He said, if you take your past with you to your future will only become your past. Shit. When he hit me with that, I was just like, I really start seeing the valley start turning into LA, just mentally. I start seeing the relationships and the energy that I was attracting was sort of like LA. So I think when those epiphanies just happen, I think it's really, you have to just self-assess, man, and just realize, okay, let me just step differently. Let me just kind of just sit back and just regather myself.
You have to sit back and recalibrate and everything. But the reason why I had asked, do you think it's beneficial to get out of that mindset is because that mindset is we have that mindset out of survival.
Right.
We don't have that mindset just because I wake up and I want to have that mindset. Or
Of course.
Be like,
Of
nah,
course.
that mindset is a survival tactic.
course.
That mindset allows us to be alive. It allows
True.
us to eat. It allows us to, not be in danger. Even though we're trying to get away, even though we're in danger, that mindset allows us to get out of it, so to say. Right? So it's kind of...
It's bittersweet.
Yeah.
It's bittersweet, and the reason why I say that as well is because when I went out there, I thrived in a lot of areas because coming from LA, things move a little bit faster. You kind of pick up on things due to street smarts.
Yeah.
But when I went out to the Valley, a lot of them lacked in that area. They don't have to think about the way that person talking to you, they're trying to get over on you. They don't have to think about watching their surroundings. So it is bittersweet, man. I think at the very end of the day, it's just about the way we react to being disrespected. That's really what I think, because a lot of my friends that was ready to risk it all, it was just all about disrespect.
I mean, because we don't know how to really respond to that.
Exactly.
We just know how to react. We know it's go time. So we don't know how to respond to that. So when it is time, when somebody does disrespect us, it's kind of like, okay. Anything outside of that is like, oh, you're a bitch.
Right. And that's just where it's coming from, because I've been hearing a lot of the toxic masculinity, and
What's your view on that?
I heard about that for the first time about a month or two ago, and I didn't know anything about it. So if I don't know anything about something, I'm gonna live until I can really have an experience on that. But I get it, man, because again, I did move back out here 2 months ago. So when I moved back out here, I'm working in Compton, a lot of guys in gangs, things like that. But it's just, one of the guys had the radio one day and played an R&B song. The whole warehouse lost it. They're just like, bro, what you playing this for? You ain't supposed to be playing this. Like, we supposed to be men in here, things like that, and that just made that guy look completely different. Now everybody want to try that guy, and now it's just about, all about this guy's selection of a song. It's not about how this guy walk. It's not about what he do on the outside. You don't even know that.
Exactly.
But it's just the fact that we're just trying to overly compensate for masculinity, and that's just what's really confusing.
And I think that's the toxic part.
Exactly. That's the toxic part.
The toxic part in which a lot of people are speaking about, right? We're trying to overcompensate.
Right.
When in reality, that's not even like masculinity.
Right.
That's more so like, yo, your self-esteem is
that's
just
insecurity on your end.
Insecurities are just bad. You got something else you got to work on, right? Everything is a good. Terrence, what's the deal? Keith was popping, man. Everything is a good. Everything is a fine, man. To the people that's listening, man, one question to y'all, and this is the question I'm not posing at the end, but what were some of the negative things that you brought from the past that are still present in today, right? So for you, what do you feel right now is still present for you right now, my man?
From what I came from the past, I would say what's still present, man, is my drive. That's what I would say. As far as coming from,
was your drive a negative thing in the past, though?
Well, as far as negative, what's stuck with me to this day, negative. I would say I would just say I still have that urge to just still go and revert right back to where I'm from. I still have that urge to go. I have that urge to go back and hang out with my friends. Even if I may have went this way and they may have went that way, I still just feel that urge to just go back and just be from the hood. Go back, be from the block. That's just one of the things that I've taken from me, because I feel like I don't know what it is. If I feel like that's where I'm from and I need to just stay there forever, I don't know if that's subconsciously there.
And then looking at it from this point is looking at it from this perspective, like as you were speaking, that's not even, it's negative up until it gets to a certain point. Right. And what I mean by that is, like, you always need to have that foundation. You always need to have your roots. Like me, I always have to go back to the hood. I always have to go back to the block. I always have to not really try to like show my face or like, stake out my chest or anything, but you need to be able to feel connected. Now, if that's your life, like if I came back out here from college and I immediately went back to the block and I just stuck on the block and I was not able to show for anything that college has taught me, all right, it gets negative. So the negative mindset it can be positive, it can be negative. It's really, I guess, in how you deal with it.
I agree. But the Valley just mainly for me just helped me get out of that entirely. That's why I just stayed completely away, just to get around people with a positive mindset. That lived a different life than I did. I don't have to always, when I talk to them, like, yeah, man, my friend he just got shot, man. He's not doing good. He moved away. And they're just like, oh wow, and they tell me some good news. So I don't know. I don't really have anything that I would say that still brought me from there, because again, like we said, it's bittersweet. Some of it is negative, some of it is positive.
Yeah.
It's just all about me and how I'm reacting to it and how I'm moving forward in life.
My girl Carly said, man, being overly trusting to people, Carly, my question to you is then how could that, I guess, negative thing from the past turn into a positive for you right now, right? Because being overly trusting in people, it will cause you to get hurt.
Will.
All the time, right? I always tell my patients, like, you know, one, trust is a commodity, right? We have to learn how to be able to use that to our advantage.
I agree.
We have to learn how to be able to use that to where we can be able to end up on top. But you always, like, the whole, remember when it was going through the phase of, like, you know, trust no bitches and all this other stuff, and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
I never was a fan of that.
I wasn't either.
Because what you don't want to do, you don't want to block out your blessing. You don't want to, like, say, oh, I'm not messing with you because I don't know you, so I'm not going to trust you.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, you got to give people a little bit. Let me trust you enough to where I'm give you enough information to where you'll be okay. But if you do something wrong with that information, it's not going to hurt me. We have to constantly put people in test.
I got you, and I don't want to go back, but I think that will be what it was, man. Like, any negative thing coming from where I came from, I didn't trust anybody. That just wasn't a thing to do, trust. But then once I went to the Valley and people were so on me, hey man, you want to hang out? And I wasn't quick to trust at all.
Yeah.
I wasn't quick to open up. I'm not looking for no friends. I don't know your agenda. I don't know what you're really trying to do, you know. But then to this day, like you said, you gotta have trust.
You gotta have trust.
You have to be able to.
Oh man, well, you gotta have trust. Well,
you gotta be able to try. Now, granted, the world is the way it is. People have their motives, they have their agendas, but no matter where you go in life, you need help. And you got to be able to trust someone, man. That is power in trust. It is power in trust, man, for real.
It is. It's a whole lot of power in trust, my man. Didier, you can trust people, just don't have faith in them.
Okay.
You believe in that? You can trust people, just don't have faith in them.
If that's the same as don't fall in love with potential, I'm on board. Because I can trust you, and I'm like, you know what, this is my guy. You know, I trust him, and they may be like, why do you trust him? I'm like, well, I see where, you know, where he's going and where he's trying to go.
Yeah.
But I just can't get completely. I guess, I just won't put all the faith behind him, because potential is still something that they got to reach.
Potential is still something you got to reach, but I mean, you got to have your faith in yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have that faith in yourself. Like, there is a difference between trust and faith, I think. Didier, what do you think the difference between trust and faith is? But you know, there's a difference between the two, and you have to understand that, like, the trust and the faith has to start. The trust and the faith has to start with yourself first.
Yeah.
If it ain't starting with yourself first, man, you're not really going to know how to trust other people.
Okay.
And I think that's a big thing. Mm-hmm. We don't know how to trust folks. We just think that trust is like, hey, I'm just going to believe you got my best interest at heart.
Of course.
And sometimes that's wrong, right? Because certain people may not. Some people got
their best interest.
I got my best interest at heart too, you know, but it's a matter of, you know, am I going to use you as a means to an end, right? You know, how do we trust people? How do we properly trust someone, right? How do we trust someone without really getting hurt? Because obviously you don't want to give like everything to everybody.
Of course.
Now you're just fucked.
You ain't got no eggs in those baskets.
Now you just fucked. Now it just get bad. I could say for me growing up, especially when it comes to this whole mindset of taking our negative things with us, trust is also a big thing. Like Carly said, trust has also been a big thing with me. But because I was so, I don't want to say traumatized growing up, but because I went through so much things growing up, my trust in people was like non-existent, right? It was easy for me to get to a point to where I know how to use you to get what I want, and that's what I'm just going to do. I'm going to make you think that I trust you and I'm all good. But what I'm doing is I'm just giving you enough to where you think everything is fine. So when you do go left, it ain't really going to hurt me like that. Okay. You know, and learning how to trust someone is crazy because you're being vulnerable.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, especially in relationships.
You're opening yourself up, man. Shit, who wants to be opened up, right? Who wants to be opened up? Terrence, trust, knowing people's limitations. Trust, knowing people's limitations. Yeah. Knowing people's limitations, knowing your own limitations.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Knowing people's limitations and knowing your own personal limitations, especially your boundaries when it comes with folks.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of us have issues when it comes to boundaries, right? Let me ask you this question when it comes to boundaries within your life, right? Mm-hmm. You said you have a girl. How long you and your girl been together?
8 years.
8 years.
8 years.
What boundaries do you set on your girl?
What boundaries have I set on my girl?
Yep, because she can't do everything.
Just kind of what you just said,
and I
man.
hope she listening right now.
Like you said, man. Yeah, I told her to download that app. But like you said, I had trust in myself, and you can't produce or give nothing you don't have. I had to get secure with myself, and I had to love myself first to find out what I will not allow. So it's just certain boundaries with me.
Say that shit again.
Certain boundaries with me is respect. You know, just basic things, you know, knowing what not to do and what to do. You know, we're not kids, we're adults, you know, so that's really what it is at the end of the day. But a big thing for me is boundaries.
Yeah.
Big thing for me, boundaries, I'm sorry about that. Big thing for me is respect.
Yeah.
That's one of my boundaries. Once we kind of start pushing that line of the respect boundary and you're trying to push it more and more and more, that's when you have an issue.
That's when you have a big issue. It's hard to move past it, right? It's hard to move past it, especially with you coming back out here, right? Now that you're out here, what's one thing? I believe you already kind of said that, but now that you're moving back out here, right? What's one thing that you are scared to fall back into, outside of you going back to the hood, but just I guess you personal? Because I'm not even gonna lie, with me, one of the reasons why I did not want to come back is because I understood I was running away from something.
Okay.
Well, it took a while for me to understand that I was running away from something, right? When we leave home and then we come back and then we realize things ain't really what it is, we leave, right? We trying to exit.
I got it.
We're trying to exit, right? For me, I was running away from facing and dealing with the fact that I don't feel or believe that I have the traditional sense of a family, right? Because raised in a foster care system and blah, 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 blah. So, you know, I'm in this mindset of I have to create my own family.
Exactly.
I'm in this mindset to where I have to create my own family. And I've kind of built that in the other places in which I was at. I'm not trying to get away from that, but I'm going to run away from life. That's why I'm busy all the time. That's why I didn't want to come back. So for you, coming back here, what was do you feel as if there was something that you were running away from to which caused you to stay away? Or was it just something that you just like, I'm addicted to the new stuff that I'm going to see?
Man, it was a mixture of both. It was a mixture of both. But growing up in LA, I definitely feel like I just always felt like it was more out there. I always felt like it was more. And we didn't have really go-tos. I didn't have anyone that I knew that was an entrepreneur. I didn't know anyone that owned their own business and did things like this. So for me, I just wanted to get out and just see what I can do and just give myself the best chance I can. That's what I've always wanted to do. The hood and running away from LA and stuff like that, that was on my mind because, again, I didn't want to just be walking down the street and the gentleman want to prove his point or whatever the case may be, and then he want to end my life or he want to put me in a situation where I got to end his life or whatever the case may be. So that was one thing I was just staying away from so I can just build my establishment. And when I did go out there and build that establishment and meet what I was looking for, I kind of fell in love with that attraction, and that's what kept me away a little bit longer because, like you said, I built something that I wanted. Yeah. And then after I build something I wanted, I'm not going to leave that and go away from it.
And never be afraid to really just bounce. Never be afraid to really just go anywhere out of fear of thinking you're running away from your situation, right?
Yeah.
Because we were speaking about this when you first got in here, right? Earlier, is when you came back, and it's the same for me. When you came back, we got the news that one of the homies that we grew up with, he doing years, time, right? Time. He doing time.
Man.
And the crazy thing about it is, it's just like you start to think, like, I start to think, and I don't know about you, but I start to think like, yo, could that have been me?
Of course.
Because you start looking at the lifestyle that person was doing, and it's like, shit, I was living the same way.
I was right there.
You know, but because I bounced, I had kind of exited. Right, so when you're coming back, you start to feel. I know for me, I started to feel not responsible but guilty. I guess it's like survivor's guilt in a way.
I felt that the same thing.
You start to feel guilty, right? Because it's like you got these homies in jail. You got and I think I posted about this like earlier in the week, but like for the past month and a half, every week there has been somebody that I either personally was close with or one of my close homies was close with that died, right?
Yep.
So you start to feel guilty because it's like, damn, they're living a life in which you've been able to escape from.
Exactly.
What's so special about you? So that's my question for you. What do you think is so special about you?
For me, I think what I think is so special about me is I want to say my parents, what I want to say, the way my parents raised me, I want to say the independence that they raised me on.
How did they raise you to cause you to be different, though?
My mom always raised me that no matter what people saying, don't subscribe to what everybody else is doing. My mom has always taught me to stay on my own, like walk your own path. Me growing up the only child, that was extremely easy. I always sat in my room. I always registered my thoughts. I always had these clear visions on what I wanted to do. And that's really what I think separated me. I had a chance to have those visions. I had a chance for my mom to fuel those visions and be like, yeah, go ahead and do that. When I left, my mom didn't call me. She wasn't blowing me up. They allowed me to be me and allowed me to kind of do my thing. So I think really, like I said, what allowed me to be different was just those visions that I was having. I always knew that I wanted more.
But when you came back and you seen, like you started to, like you hear about homie in jail or whatever, but when you come back and you start to see like, yo, these people really gone or shit really still the same and I'm in a different mindset.
Right.
Does that sometimes cause you to feel guilty for you leaving?
Of course. Because like you said, man, I had a chance to get out. Why did they get a chance to get out? Why weren't they able to get any type of opportunity? Why weren't they able to shift their paradigm and maybe get into tech or maybe get into whatever the case may be? Why didn't they get drafted to NFL? Why didn't they make it in the NBA so they can help their families? But mainly, I have cousins. I was raised in a foster home, not me, but my grandmother raised 5 kids in a foster home. I was over there every single day. All of my cousins I grew up with, I'm the only one that's doing something. They all are still there, do not plan to ever move out on their own. So when I come back there and my grandma and everyone's like, oh my God, Eric, oh my God. And then I'm just like, dang.
What do you think is keeping them stuck?
I think it's fear. Because one of my cousins, he won't even get on a bus to go down the street. He won't even go. I'm serious, man. Like he's so scared that I tried to put him on Uber. I'm like, bro, you can hop on Uber and go right down the street. Because I'm doing all of these things. I'm at these parties with people that they love and that we love growing up. And I'm sending them these pictures like, yo, man, let's do this. Don't just sit in the hood, man. Don't just sit there and ride, bro. Let's really do something. And it makes me feel bad because I come back and they just like, you different. You think you better than us. I'm like, how? When I send you guys these snaps and these videos, like, pull up.
Yeah.
You know, so I do feel guilty. I do.
Yeah, and then it's one side of me says fear when it comes to like people like you said your cousins, right? One side says fear, the other side of me is just like, man, they just comfortable.
Yeah.
They're comfortable and they're okay. Right? It's being okay is fine, but being okay for a long time will set you back. I got a lot of people on the block. I got a lot of people in the projects. I know a lot of people in certain pockets to where it's like, you know, you've mentioned that certain people have never ever been in like the San Fernando Valley.
Right.
There's some people who ain't never been to Hollywood and they in the projects.
True.
You know,
True.
so getting out of the box that we're in, right? You're in prison mentally.
I was going to say, I think it's just a poverty mindset. They just have a poor mindset. Like, and sometimes that's from our family and what they were taught.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing I say about my parents. My dad, he did some time in prison.
Yeah.
But my dad and my mom never tried to diminish my views. They never was just like, oh, no, don't do that. Just get a job and work.
Yeah.
They always allowed me to reach for the sky no matter when, no matter what day it was. They always allowed me to just go out and do my own thing.
And that's the difference, right? The things that we are taught growing up from our parents, right? Our parents and our siblings, they teach us to stay content. And they don't even know that they're teaching us to stay content because they themselves are content. So they're just moving the way that they're moving. Mm-hmm. Every now and then there's like a little bug that says in your ear, okay, you need to go somewhere.
Right.
But then the second you try to go somewhere, it's like you have the family or the people within that pocket telling you, like, no, stay. Like, what if your parents would have told you, like, nah, you're not going out there, homie. You young, you staying here.
I think I would have still went. Because my dad.
What you gonna do? Run away from your parents? What if your pops came over and like, nah, little nigga.
Yeah, then I would have had to do it. I would,
Exactly.
I would have had to do what I had to do, and that would have been really unfortunate. That would have been really unfortunate. But I had a similar situation. My dad did tell me, "Hey, we can't afford to take you to school every day. I got to take you out." I could have just been like, "All right, man," but I knew that going out to that school, it was bigger than the valley.
But you said you was taking a bus for 3 hours.
3 hours, man. Like
a 3-hour bus ride, yo.
At 5 a.m. too, though. Like not just like maybe 3 p.m. Well, I did do that after school, but in the morning, 5 a.m. man, on Gage and Western. I would hop on the 207 at about 5:40, and then I would get off of it about 7:55. Around that time, if everything went well, then I'll make it to school. But if I miss one bus, I'm probably there about 9 o'clock. And I normally miss one bus.
And I get it.
It's
and
hard.
I get it. I understand it because like it was a semester in high school where I went to Glendale, and I'm waking up 5 a.m. every day, catching that damn 52 to the train station, catching that shit downtown. Like,
yeah.
3.5, and you still get to school late. Like you still get to school late. But I get it. It's just a matter of like how or why does that little bug of getting out of that bubble pop up in your head? Or maybe everybody has it.
That's a good question.
Maybe everybody has it. I don't know.
I want to say what my man Nipsey Hussle said. There's just a few people every generation that wasn't supposed to make it out, but I think he said, but they decode the matrix.
Yeah.
And when they get to speak, it's like a stolen language.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like in the humblest way, I feel that way about myself because I grew up with, even when I go to these jobs, and I love customer service jobs because I love people. I love speaking to the next person. My mom has always taught me you never know what they're going through.
Yeah.
You never know. So I love speaking with people, but we all have such a basic mindset. We all have such a worker bee mindset, and that could be from school. That could be from parents. Some people, parents may be first generation. So they're just like, yo, stay under the radar. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
But I really, like I said, those clear visions that I was getting all the time, I don't want it. And back then I didn't take it as I was the chosen one. I thought I thought everybody got that. I thought that was everybody. Everybody thinks the same thing I thought.
Because you like, ain't no difference between me and the homie on the block.
That's what I thought.
We was out here shooting dice. We was out here doing reckless. We was out here selling drugs like the rest of them. Mm-hmm. What is it about me that gave me the opportunity to be able to fucking go to school somewhere or go do this? Why do I have these thoughts of like I need to go see something else? Like you 15, like I need to go to San Fernando Valley.
Right.
I'm 15 saying I need to go to Glendale. Mm-hmm. What is it about? What is it? Where does that book come from? Which I guess is a question that really just is on my mind right now.
Yeah.
Right? Is it something that I don't think it's something that's instilled because it's something that's like not given to us. Nothing that's not given to us. If our parents haven't been anywhere, it's like we don't know any better. But at the same token, like at what point does it spark? It could be a movie, it could be a fucking conversation you had, whatever it is, but at the end of the day, it's just about being open.
It's just being open. I was going to say that. It's just about being an inquisitive mind. Just being open to... I was an only child. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I had a lot of time to just sit and reflect and just think. I was the only child for 10 years. I used to go see my dad every weekend. My mom and I used to go on this 3-hour road trip to go see my dad, 3 hours back.
Yeah.
So I kind of didn't live a normal kid life. I didn't go and play with the homies every weekend until I got about 9 or 10. And then I told my dad, hey, man, I kind of want to have fun and be a kid. I saw you from like, 3 to 10 every single weekend, So I think that's just really what it is. It's about how some people are raised from the beginning. They all say it starts in the home, So I think everything starts there, man, with you exposing your children to knowledge, whether it be things all over the place. Because if you look at like Willow Smith and them like that, Will and Jada, they're extremely open. They expose their kids to every single thing. So when they do go out here in the world, it don't really...
Yeah, they open as hell, but them kids growing up, it's kind of weird.
I agree, bro. I would say that as well, but I was just saying as far as like what helps people, just being open.
Exactly.
Just
definitely being open, man. Definitely being open. So moving on forward into the question, right? The question I never really write down or anything like that. It's just a question that I kind of pick up throughout the show, right? We're speaking about being open, right? We're speaking about being open. My question is, when you have a closed off mindset, or when you're blocking everything, what can you do for yourself in order to be open to a lot of things?
I think it's about who you surround yourself with. I think if you get out, like you said, add spices to it, man. If you get out, if you're bored, if you just get out and get around people that has a more open mindset, they're going to force you. They're going to force you to be more open. They're going to force you to think about this differently. Just sometimes you just stay to yourself and stay in your mind. That's not always the best thing to do.
Yeah. I would say that, you're only as big as the things you see. So if you only see the projects, you're never going to be anything more than that. If you only see Watch, if you only see Compton or Inglewood, you're never going to be anything more than that. So the one thing I would highly recommend for a lot of individuals who are closed off to a lot of things is that what you need to do is start to actually go see certain stuff.
Exactly.
Right? Go see certain movies. Go, instead of, going left, go right. Just get in your car and
read some
and
books.
Just drive down PCH. Just drive down PCH. Go drive down whatever. Read some books, like you said. Do whatever you have to do in order to just physically see more. Because if we don't physically see more, we don't know what's out there. It's like a lot of individuals who are, let's say, if you was just raised in a box and you never went anywhere, you're not going to know anything past that. And then once you get out of that box, two things are going to happen. You're going to be like, whoa, this is dope. And you're going to try to go. Or you're going to be like, nah, this shit is scary.
Too much. Come right back.
Come right back.
Comfort zone.
So when you feeling as if you're going to come right back, or when you feeling as if that anxiety or whatever is too much for you, just understand that, at that point, what's doing more harm to you? Is it the fact that you're comfortable that's doing more harm to you, or the fact that you've never been uncomfortable that's doing more harm to you? And sometimes we got to understand the fact that we need to get uncomfortable is the one thing that's going to allow us to grow, right? Simone, I think that's why I think everyone should experience college, right? Is this way to be exposed to different people and things. Oh my God, that's 100% right.
Now, I didn't go to college. I did not go to college, but I lived that same experience because I was 15, and normally with college, you normally go off somewhere. Everyone knows where you're going. It's you, yourself. You go out to school, and you meet a whole bunch of people and just do your thing, and you grow. That's exactly what I did. I was just in high school. I moved to Sylmar. I moved out there by myself. I met a guy. I roommate with him and his family, and I went to school every single day.
And that's exactly what Carly just said, right? Exposure to new environments will change your life, right?
Exactly.
Being that you're exposed to other things. So like what Simone said, right? I'm exposed to college. Like me, when I went to Atlanta, that was my first state that I've ever, it was the first place I've been to outside of California. Right? But when I went to Atlanta, that first year, I went to 3-4 different states.
Wow.
Because you're like, oh shit, this is here, then that's there, then that's here. And it's like college is one of the easiest ways to kind of just expose yourself.
I completely agree.
One of the things I used to tell all of my boys when I came back from summer break is you don't have to go to college to try to be smart. You don't have to go to college. Look, I'm in school to where the ratio to women is 20. It's like 20 to 1.
Right.
Every 20 girls, it's like one dude. Go out there for the bitches.
Yeah. Hey.
But the chicks is gonna make you stay because you're gonna go out there. You're gonna see different things. You're gonna see different women. You're gonna see different life. You're gonna be like, whoa, let me at least try to work on my grades here so I can at least stay.
Yep. 100%.
You got to figure out how to do it, man. Either way, if you didn't go to college, man, we all need some type of exposure in life. Definitely true. At the end of the day,
I'm telling you, I agree, man. I feel like that's one thing we're just missing out here. A lot of these guys, man, that get into trouble, let's say they sell drugs, let's say they're in a non-violent crime. The judge should send them somewhere, let's say a Wisconsin, a Detroit. They should send them somewhere, let them play sports, let them rehabilitate themselves, put them in a new situation. A lot of times it's our circumstance. It's about where we are. Poverty, man, it breeds crime. That's really sometimes what it is.
But the judge knows the second you try to send us somewhere else, or just people, we know the second we try to, take this community and put it somewhere else, we're going to begin to shine. We're going to get bigger. So it's about, it's systematically done in order to keep us in that box.
Yeah, of course. And that was other things that I learned. And when I came back, I'm like, yo, you got to switch this. This is all up, but then you look like that guy. It's like, come on, bro. You look like that guy. You're doing too much.
But at the same token, some people, and this is also a very important fact, understanding who you're telling that to, because everybody don't need to come out the hood. Everybody doesn't, you don't need to tell all of your homies to come with you to this photo shoot.
Of course.
Because you're going to have that one homeboy who's going to fuck the shit up.
It's happened.
We all got friends who don't know how to act in public.
Of course.
We all got friends who yo, I can't take you around that. And we all got friends in which I can't bring my college homeboys or my college homegirls around my homies from the block.
Yeah.
Because they speak a different language and my homies speak a different language.
I got you.
Because I'm bilingual in those languages, it's just not going to work. So it's just all about understanding, exposing people is thoroughly important. But making sure when you're trying to expose someone, expose them to things that are a little bit not sensitive, but what's the right word?
Well, tailored to their lifestyle?
Exactly.
I got you.
Put a little bit of candy on put candy in the medicine in the candy, whatever it is, however that saying go, but don't just take them off somewhere, because they're automatically going to be like, no. Because their first inclination is going to be like, no.
Especially if it's nothing they're interested in. I got you.
Exactly. If your homie smoke weed all the time, shit, take him to the farm.
Yeah, and that's something. And now he may be like, instead of just smoking, now he like, yo, I need to grow.
Yeah.
You know, I got you. No, 100%.
Then once you start growing, you're gonna start learning things. You're gonna start learning about biology and plants and all this extra stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, man, I like to drink, so I'm what? Cease? I got to invite somewhere in the future. I don't know, Didier. But to all those that's tuning in, good looking. Simone, Carly, Didier, Tanisha. Who else was that? Keith.
Hey,
Terrence,
Tanisha. That's my mom. Shout out to my mom.
Shout out to Tanisha, man. But it's that Tanisha, not your mom. It ain't your mom, Tanisha.
Play me.
Shouts out to all those individuals who are listening, man. Thank you, Eric. My man, it was really, really dope to see you here, man.
Likewise, man. Thank you so much.
For real. Like I said, we ain't seen each other since fucking park days. We playing football, banging our heads against each other.
Seriously, I remember the back of the helmet used to say W. Cooks. I remember them days. Man.
That shit was nice.
But I appreciate the convo just because for me, like it's me leaving, I haven't spoke about it too much, but me leaving was a huge transformation for me.
Yeah.
Even coming back, I'm just like, man, so to be able to talk about it and about things mindsets that I came out of, because I haven't shared that. I haven't shared that about, the parasite and a lot of the negative thinking I took with me to the Valley.
Exactly.
And things like that. I haven't shared that with too many people. So I do appreciate the platform and, allowing me to open up and talk about those type of things, man. For real.
How can people connect with you, man?
You can follow me on Instagram at Just Dream Chasing without the G at the end. And you can follow my brand on Instagram at The Wise and Wealthy.
Mm-hmm. The Wise and Wealthy.
And Wealthy.
Shouts out to you, Jackie, for taking out the trash. It's something in there now, but shouts out to you, Jackie.
I saw that on Instagram. I saw that.
But as always, man, thank you to all those individuals who are listening and tuning in right now. Thank you to all those individuals who are going to be listening in and tuning in later on to the show. Thank you to those individuals who are going to be listening tomorrow, next week, next month. Whenever you get the chance, whenever you get bored, hey, pop this in, play this on the tape, whenever it is. And as always, understand. Ain't no wealth without your mental health, man. So please stay blessed and take care of yourself. Be great, y'all. Peace.